What's up, NIO family? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the broader markets. I'm also going to break down why I believe there's going to be a larger pullback coming to the markets very soon. Despite the fact that the market's bouncing in the after hours due to tech earnings, I still believe that we're in a topping process, and very soon we're going to be getting ready for a very, very big move down. Before I get started, though, just know two things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 in total, and deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. You also qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends at the end of July in just 1 day from now, so there's only 1 day left. Check out the offer before it runs out. Anyways, looking at NIO, as you could tell, we're getting another rejection. I did expect 4.5 to be coming. We'll see if NIO could bounce a little bit from here before it likely continues to decline a bit, because we're getting some very, very big updates from the Fed that is a little bit negative for the markets. And I believe there's going to be more downside coming. Now, the market dumped with Jerome Powell, but we're still respecting this flag, and we're still trying to bounce in the after hours. So I still think the whole market could try to bounce a little higher, but like I said before, I don't trust this rally now. I don't really trust this rally. I believe that we're going to temporarily try to push higher, but there's going to be a top forming in the upcoming days, and within a week from now, we're going to be looking for a much larger pullback. I still hold the same view, and I think that could be a little bit more negative for NIO. I think seasonality will eventually kick in. Now, NIO has hit a significant milestone, rolling out its 800,000th EV. This came from their sub-brand Onvo, thanks to the L90, which is getting a lot of attention. That's some good news, but much of this has been priced in already. What is a little bit more negative, though, is the fact that yields ended up going up because President Trump is not President Trump, Jerome Powell, excuse me. He is very uncertain about what's going to happen in September, because before the market was pricing in rate cuts for September, there's like a 60+% chance we'd get it. Now we're uncertain because Jerome Powell saying it depends on the data, and he's still kind of like favoring that whole view of they could have to keep rates longer for higher for longer, excuse me, because of the fact that we could handle it, and there's so much uncertainty about the tariffs. He said the same thing all over again. He also implied that the tariffs do cause prices to go up, and he is concerned that that may happen again. There's just too many uncertainties for them to continue to do what's necessary. He brought up the effects it could have on appliances and other factors, and he mentioned that there's not really much they could really say until they see a lot of data, and they still have their dual mandates to manage the labor market and inflation. So, both of those are going to be very important, especially the labor markets, and we're going to see what happens during the next, employment report that's coming out on Friday. So we'll see what ends up happening. Goldman Sachs is neutral on NIO. The price-price ratio is dropping, however, which shows that NIO is losing some strength despite the attention that ET5 is getting. FOMC had the Fed keep rates the same, and they may continue to do that. And for tomorrow, we have some PCE prices data. So we'll see what PCE data looks like. There might be a slight increase in inflation, so be careful. And simultaneously, we have more unemployment numbers coming out for Friday. So I do want to just let you guys know this could be a little concerning. We're going to see what the Fed ends up doing with that. So be very, very mindful of that. With inflation going up, you want to be very careful. And simultaneously, now the market's very indecisive about whether or not we're going to get a cut in September. So that's very, very important. We just got some big earnings. Tomorrow we have Apple and Amazon. But keep in mind that Meta did very well. Good growth thanks to AI. And then Meta and Microsoft both did very, very well with nice growth. So keep that in mind. We saw some great growth overall. And with what's going on, we're going to be expecting a nice gap up tomorrow. But this is just going to be a temporary move. President Trump, once again, is saying that he does not want to extend his tariff deadline. He's saying that that's going to happen. It's going to be the same tariffs that are going to be imposed on August 1st are just going to be imposed. There's no ifs and buts. And he imposed a 25% tariff on India and then an additional penalty because of the fact that they do lots of business with Russia. So he mentioned that. He said that he's not going to once again back out of the deadline. And then he talked about 50% tariffs on copper and Brazil and more tariffs that are coming. So keep all of this in mind as they're continuing to negotiate. With what's going on, NIO is looking kind of weak here unless we get back above like 4.55. We're favoring consolidation and dip lower towards this 4.4 area, so we're still looking kind of bearish. In all honesty, we could be dipping more. SPY, however, is looking bullish. This is a trap for the bears. We're going to be looking for a pump for basically closer to 640. But although we might pump a little bit more, Like I said before, 640, the low 640s could be coming, but I don't expect us to last at these high levels for much longer. Within a week, I think that the market will be already topped. We're going to be looking for a bigger pullback. I believe it's coming. We're almost there, guys. So keep that in mind because of seasonality and because of the tariffs and because of a lot of fear that's going to be coming, possibly with some jobs numbers and inflation. I still think there's going to be a risk of some downside. The QQQ is breaking all-time highs. It's still bullish, so this could be looking for an attempt for 575 plus. With Powell, we dumped and then just pumped. So we could continue to go a little higher, but there's going to be a top forming eventually the closer we get to August. And I think within 1 week, this will top, and we're going to be looking for a much larger pullback. Keep that in mind. The IWM, however, has dumped with Jerome Powell, was not able to bounce with tech. So this is the first one to start dipping. This is kind of leading the market. I think this is foreshadowing what's about to come. We could try to retest 222, but then we're going to likely continue to fall to 216. ES is bouncing. The after was looking for an attempt for all-time highs tomorrow, and we'll see how it ends up reacting. Very simply said, the market could go a little higher, but then there's going to be a big top forming within a couple of days. Then expect a much larger pullback in August. NQ is looking bullish, favoring 23,700. We could be going a bit higher. Then we're going to see what happens once we get that rejection. Bitcoin could be testing 118,000, and we'll see if we reject off that or not. Tesla is kind of consolidating here, but it's showing some weakness. May consolidate before it starts to decline for the low 310s. Nvda is breaking out with big tech earnings hitting 185 very soon. We're still favoring 185 to 190. We're going to see if it rejects off that, but there's going to likely be some upside. Apple's a little bit weak. It depends on earnings tomorrow, though. Keep in mind there is an imbalance down here, so we might consolidate. If we can't hold support, we could be tipping for the low 200s. Netflix is still bouncing. It could be trying to retest 1200. We're going to see if it rejects or not. AMD is looking more bullish. It's currently favoring 188. Coinbase is looking a bit more bullish, favoring 394 or above, so it still has some upside potential. Amazon's bouncing as a result of Meta's earnings. We're looking for an attempt for 238. Then eventually we're going to be pushing for 240. We're going to see how it reacts after earnings. Meta is on fire. It's currently up 12%. It's looking for an attempt for basically 780, which is helping the markets temporarily. Google is also pushing. We're going to see how it reacts. It could be dipping to 194, though. And then Microsoft is on fire as well. So we got a very, very nice bounce after FOMC. So what do I think is going to happen? The VIX is rejecting. The whole market is going to basically try to rally tomorrow in the morning. But the rally is not going to last forever. Give it another day. Give it another day or two. But I do believe next week the market's going to form its top and there's going to be a much larger pullback coming. So heed my warning, guys. I believe it's coming once we get to the August period. I've been saying that in August I expect a pullback. We're almost there. It's getting very, very close, and it's going to be very significant compared to this upside we're getting. We could rally tomorrow. We could see SPY test all-time highs. But soon, once we form a top in the low 640s or so, there's a gap over here to fill at 628. There's another gap over here, right? We're looking at these gaps. There's a giant gap to fill at 600. We're going to return to those gaps likely in August/September. So this is an opportunity. Let them rally this another couple of points. Okay, that's fine. That's going to be nothing compared to the downside that's coming in the upcoming weeks. I know it sounds crazy. I know the market's trying to brainwash everyone into believing we're just going to rally forever. I get it. Yes, we're going to rally a bit more, but we're not going to rally forever. I believe there's going to be a much larger pullback coming very soon. For NIO, it's a little bit weak looking right here, so it might actually dip a little bit. Sorry, NIO's right here. And we could be looking for 4.35 to 4.4, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. But be prepared for the downside. The stock market should rally tomorrow, gap up and push, but then I do believe we're going to be looking for some downside after that. I still hold that same view because of seasonality and because of many other factors, okay? So could we rally more? Yes, I am still leaning more bullish. We're going to be breaking all-time highs temporarily, but it's not going to last 2-3 weeks. It's going to last less than a week, and then I believe in early August, the top is coming. Once the tariffs start kicking in, once we start to see the new inflationary numbers, employment numbers, and not to mention other pieces of news, there should be a much larger pullback coming. I still hold that same view. All right, so I will talk more about my analysis and reasoning behind the pullback soon. The market could rally more, and NIO is going to likely test 4.4, and we'll see if we bounce or not. Anyways, I wish you all nothing but the best. Please take care, and peace out.